In the village of Ogudu, life was simple on the surface: children chasing goats in the dusty paths, women pounding yam until the sound echoed through the air, and men sitting beneath mango trees telling stories of harvest and survival. But beneath the rhythm of ordinary life, every soul carried its own burden, and every household had its secret tears. Among them lived a young woman named Annabelle. Annabelle had known hardship from her youth. Her mother had passed when she was still tender, leaving her and her sister in the care of relatives who themselves struggled to keep food on the table. From that early age, Annabelle learned what it meant to survive without softness. She carried responsibility like a calabash balanced on her head, steady, but heavy. By the time she reached womanhood, her eyes already carried the weariness of someone twice her age. Her troubles deepened when love, which she thought would be her rest, became her greatest wound. Dion, the man who claimed her heart, was not the man she believed him to be. At first he came with sweet words, like ripe palm fruit falling easily into her hands. He promised her companionship, he whispered of protection, and he built his place in her life like a farmer planting yam mounds after the first rain. For a while, she allowed herself to hope. But hope has sharp edges. One evening, Annabelle uncovered the truth. The man she trusted had wrapped himself in lies. What he had hidden from her was not just more deception, it was proof that his love had cracks, that his words had no roots in truth. Her heart swelled with anger, and like a woman scalded by hot oil, she reacted without hesitation. She cast him out of her house, turning deaf ears to his cries. Dion walked away into the night, shame clinging to him like the dust of Ogudu's dry season. Annabelle stood firm, but inside, her spirit trembled. For in love betrayed, it is not only the liar who bleeds, the one deceived bleeds even more. Days turned into weeks, and soon, the walls of her home echoed with silence. Into that silence came relatives and friends, knocking on her door with voices louder than their compassion. Her aunt, known for her sharp tongue, scolded her for not answering calls. Old friends arrived with smiles that could not hide their gossip. They sat in her compound, talking about family matters, recalling cousin Jeff who had died, stirring quarrels about care and entitlement. Annabelle's sister, instead of offering comfort, traded words of blame with her, each accusing the other of failing the family. As the words flew, Annabelle's heart grew heavier. She was not only battling betrayal, her body too began to show weakness. Strange symptoms troubled her. Her hands shook at times, her energy slipped away, and she feared her body was turning against her. Some whispered it was diabetes, some hinted at curses, others said she worried too much. Annabelle, desperate for answers, turned to doctors, to neighbors, even to endless late-night searches. But every answer only bet more confusion. Her friends, meaning well, filled her kitchen with food. Baskets of yam, loaves of bread, pots of palm soup lined her shelves. One friend in particular scolded her gently, begging her to eat, fearing she might slip away from them in her weakness. But food could not fill the emptiness she felt inside. In the village, remedies were as plentiful as the voices that carried them. Some swore by herbs and roots, urging her to drink bitter leaves boiled at dawn. Others insisted on tests and medicines from the clinic. The arguments became endless, each one confident, each one certain. Annabelle grew weary of it all. One evening, she made a choice that shocked everyone. "I will fast," she told them. "For 6 weeks I will abstain, seeking healing in spirit if my body cannot find it elsewhere." Her friends were horrified. Fasting when her body was already weak seemed like calling death closer. Sleeping on the bare floor, laying a mattress on her balcony, seemed like surrendering to suffering. But Annabelle's mind was set. She felt that only by stripping herself bare before the unseen could she reclaim her wholeness. But the body has its limits. One night, her strength failed completely. She collapsed, silent and still as a fallen tree. Hours passed, and the whispers of neighbors filled the air. "Annabelle is gone," some feared. A neighbor, alarmed, called for help. When at last she stirred, her eyes opened to a circle of faces, her aunt, her friends, her neighbors, all hovering over her with relief and fear. Her aunt wept openly. "Child, don't carry this battle alone." They stuffed her kitchen with food again, promising they would not leave her side. In the days that followed, chaos and care mixed together. Some brewed strange concoctions, claiming they could cure her constant weakness and even her secret shame of bedwetting. Others teased, turning her struggles into moments of humor, not out of cruelty, but out of a desperate attempt to lift her spirit. In Ogudu, laughter was sometimes the only medicine people could afford. Yet through all of this, Annabelle carried shame like a shadow. For though she was grown, her nights betrayed her with the wetness of a child. It was her hidden burden, one she had carried since youth, and now it seemed to tighten its grip as her other troubles mounted. Few understood her pain. And then, Dion returned. The man she had cast out walked back into her life, softer, humbled, with eyes that no longer carried the pride of before. He admitted his faults. He begged not only for forgiveness, but for the chance to walk beside her through her sickness and shame. He declared that his love was no longer just words, but commitment. Annabelle's heart wrestled with itself. She longed for rest, yet feared being broken again. Against her instincts, she allowed him near, if only to lean on a shoulder when her strength was gone. The village healer, wise in both herbs and wisdom, reminded her gently, not all wounds are of the body. Some spring from the mind, others from the spirit. Healing, he said, is never a single moment, it is a journey of many steps. So Annabelle began her journey anew. She submitted to test, she drank herbs, she prayed, she fasted. She wept, she argued, she laughed, and through it all, friends and family remained by her side. Their care was not perfect, sometimes it came with quarrels, sometimes with too much advice, but it was care nonetheless. Slowly, Annabelle began to see that survival was not about walking without stumbling. It was about rising after every fall, about allowing the hands around her to steady her when her own legs failed. And so her story became more than her own. It became a mirror of the village itself, a reminder that every person carries unseen struggles, that gossip does not heal, that food cannot cure loneliness, and that sometimes the greatest medicine is simply refusing to let someone suffer alone. The elders of Ogudu, when they retold her tale, ended with these words. A single tree may stand tall, but when the storm comes, it is the forest around it that keeps it from breaking. So too with life, when your calabash leaks, only the hands of others can keep the water from wasting.